Let's get ready to rumble!
Can William ZEPEDA do anything else but slug? You know, with it. 23 stoppages in 26 fights. No draws, no defeats. He'll obviously have a puncher's chance when matched up for championship belts. But can he outbox any of them guys? A Devin Haney? A Tank Davis? A Lomachenko? A Kambosos? Him and Ryan would be a good fight. That Golden Boy. The one guy I wouldn't advise him to fight like that against is Teofimo Lopez. I wouldn't advise it. But what else can he do? I just see him outpoint Rene Alvarado, an Argentinian fighter. Basically, ZEPEDA is the quintessential archetypal Mexican slugger. That's what he is. A couple of the judges had the UD wide. 96-94 was one of the scorecards. That was about right. Alvarado rehydrated to 140. He's normally a 129 pounder. He is a former super featherweight champion. He knocked off Andrew Cancio. He's got a win and a loss against that guy. Remember Cancio knocked off Machado a couple of times. So he can fight. So he's moved up to 135. He rehydrated to 140, according to the DAZN broadcasting team. ZEPEDA hydrated all the way up to 150. Big lad. I don't know if, it made him a bit sluggish, putting all that weight on, or if he had an expectancy that the knockout was just going to come, but it never came. Now, somebody's going to get offended, but a lot of the swinging I saw for him looked amateurish. Not even amateurish, that's an insult to amateur boxing. Just looked crude. Didn't look championship level, but who knows? Maybe with preparation against one of the big names at 135, I'll put it all together and I'll see things that I never saw in this fight here. Alvarado, well, he was slugging right there with ZEPEDA, but he was at least trying to find angles to get his punches off, and he was lighting ZEPEDA up for long periods of the fight. Alvarado had the faster hands. Now the crowd, they'll go home very happy with a fight like that. There's no doubt. No doubt about that. But I don't know, maybe I expected more from a prospect with statistics like that. Maybe I expected more. Just gets hit way too much. Maybe they can tighten up his defense a little and try and get a title shot ASAP. Because you're likely to put this guy in there with a gatekeeper who implements a little defense and counter-punching. This guy will get cut around the face and possibly take an L. Maybe he's got an iron chin, but the epidermis can always be penetrated. But we'll see. It'll be exciting to see how he gets along. I'll ride with it. I'll watch. Martin Bakole looked like a throwback African-American heavyweight against Tony Yoka. That was a heavyweight masterclass yesterday. Not for the whole 10. Martin took his foot off the gas, and we thought they were going to do a little robbery and parley. In fact, I'm being a bit harsh. I'm saying he took his foot off the gas. JD, one of my subs, he said that Martin had slow feet. It's not so much he took his feet off the gas or he had slow feet. Tony was moving excessively because he didn't want to get hit by no big bombs. He didn't want to get lit up by them combinations. Jabs, body shots, rights to the head. The way he came from both channels, doubling up them hooks to the body. I haven't seen many heavyweights do that. The current heavyweights, haven't seen it. And Yoka didn't have an answer to it. And this is the first guy Yoka has fought, maybe in his life, that was bigger than him. Because they had Martin billed as 6'3". And I said, Martin was 6'3". And when they were standing together at the weigh-in, you could see they were both the same height. But Martin was a lot bigger. Martin weighed in 270. 275 actually. 34 pounds heavier than Tony Yoka. And it's not just the size. When you're fighting someone who's 275 and well coordinated, and you've never faced this in your career, must be a shock to the system. Now, I'm going to fess up. I didn't like Martin's weight. From the last time I saw him in Saudi Arabia, he was over 280. So I was picking Yoka, his amateur pedigree, Olympic gold medalist, and his conditioning. I was banking on this, his speed, to get him through. But people have heard me talk up Martin Bakole, and I've always said Martin has skills. He surprised Yoka, Virgil Hunter, and a lot of you with his skills. There's no doubt about that. Underestimated Martin's skills. Martin weighed around 285 for his last fight in Saudi. And I was worried about the weight. And this is why I picked Yoka. I thought Yoka would be too quick. But his foot speed and his hand speed never played a factor. Never played a factor. Yoka was floored in the first round. A combination that culminated with a right hook. Had him down and hurt. First time in his career. And in the fifth, he didn't seem to get hit with anything. And it looked like his body language was quitting on him. Did he hurt his ankle or something? He went down without a punch being thrown, and it was counted by the referee. I don't know if he was correct to do that. Online, a lot of people were calling for Virgil Hunter's head. As soon as a fighter takes a defeat, they're looking at the coach. You know, it was Eddie Reynoso the other week. Now it's Virgil. The other week it was Ben Davison. Now apparently Virgil told Yoka to keep his head, insisting that his foe was slowing down. And then we had all the Monday morning quarterbacks online saying, oh, you see, that was bad advice. How was it bad advice? He came in at 270. I don't know if he was gassing or if he was trying to lure, because he did try to lure Yoka into these right hands, but Tony was too quick for that to ever happen. Martin was better when he was pressing the attack coming forward behind that thumping jab. That's where he was effective. Now, he did take his foot off the gas. I don't know if he was gassing or not. So Virgil had a point. Whether he was tired or not, he did slow up. But Yoka couldn't do anything. When he needed a knockout, he was running around the ring like he had banked rounds early. A very rowdy Paris crowd were chanting Yoka, but they couldn't lift him. They couldn't lift him. Martin's jab busted up his nose. Well, not much really to say on it. You know what I mean? It was a great performance by Martin Bakole. Great performance. But what happens tomorrow? There was a deadline for a purse bid between Tony Yoka and Ajit Caballel. Is Martin Bakole eligible to challenge for that European title? Billy better go look into that. Because surely Yoka, after taking an L, has to be taken out of consideration. Talk about counting your eggs before they hatch. Best made plans, eh? The 94-94 scorecard. Well, what do you expect? It was in Paris. The judge should be investigated. That's all I can say. One thing for sure, defeat has not humbled Tony Yoka at all. According to Billy Hunter, Bakole's trainer, Tony Yoka thinks he won the fight last night and wants a rematch. Oh my gosh. Now, I don't know if Billy was playing around because he's took down the tweet, but because I'm recording vids, I've screenshot it already. And look, can't be too mad at Yoka. This is what fighters do. This is what I'm saying. This is what fighters do. This is the only way, I'm guessing, that they can continue training, they can continue believing they can do things in boxing is by thinking like this. He hasn't made no excuses. He just thinks he won. So it's not that bad. It's just delusion. Boxer's delusion. Yeah, he thinks he won the fight. Is that why he was running around the ring in the closing rounds when he needed a knockout? Channel 5, Udolphia versus Bentley, Friday. DAZN, Bazell had Zerdo Ramirez. And they had another card on Friday, an Italian card, which I haven't seen yet. So they've been busy. Sky Sports, they had the prize fighter tournament at Cruiser. The PBC, they had the undisputed fight at 154. Big up Jamel Charlo. Boots Ennis. Triller, the Pulev brothers versus Kovalev and Jerry Forrest. And Cypress Hill and Onyx, for all us cats who used to follow that type of rap in the 90s. ESPN, Yoka versus Bakole. So that's 6 different networks in action, 7 cards from Friday till Sunday morning, let's say. Boxing coming from all different angles, yeah? And they've got the National Schools Championships in the UK on. They've got that too on YouTube. Is it good for boxing, the amount of variety you get, or is it overkill because you're going to have to prioritize some of the cards over the others, surely? Or did you watch everything? What did you prioritize if you had to prioritize? Let me know. What are the dangers of saturation? Well, the dangers of saturation is there may be some real career-defining fights and some great cards. But since you have options and you might not have to pay pay-per-view or go through subscription or streams to see the alternative cards. You might go there, and it could potentially devalue the worth of some really good cards. I didn't catch much of the Sky Prize Fighter Tournament Cruiser. Ellis Zorro won it. He defeated Ricky Reeves on points. He won all his fights on points, but he got the job done. Takes £40,000 back home. He has an autistic daughter, and that will assist him and his family looking after her. And it's a very clever move that Sky put this tournament on YouTube, free to air. Very clever. Great advertisement for Sky Boxing. I'll tell you what, Adam Smith and Ben Shalom are very switched on over there. They're determined not to miss a step, and they've got to give credit to Eddie Hearn for pushing them and driving them on like this. I'm very impressed. Look, the competition is good for everybody. Everybody is stepping up. Everybody's got good cards, good events, good things to look out for. There's no empires crumbling every second unless you're a real drama queen. It's good competition. After watching Bentley versus Udofia on Friday for the British 160-pound title, I believe the British title should be left for the British public on terrestrial television. That's my opinion. Sky would object to that. Obviously, they had AJ and Dylan doing 600,000 pay-per-view buys, but if ITV had it, they could reactivate their pay-per-view platform if an occasion like AJ and Dylan came back up. And in saying that, it shouldn't really be pay-per-view. You know, if you get heavyweight fights with the likes of a Dylan and AJ, then we'd have to cross that bridge when necessary, but it should be free-to-air terrestrial television. That's what it should be. There's lots of kids who want to be boxers. This is a working class sport. I keep repeating that. Some people seem to forget that. It's a working class sport. These kids are probably gearing up to perform in the England school championships, which is on YouTube today, and their parents can't afford Sky or a DAZN subscription or shit like that. It's hard times out there. Gotta keep them motivated. These fights should be on British television. Just like the FA Cup is still on terrestrial television. I'm sure a whole load of you watching this video saw the penalty shootout between Liverpool and Chelsea. Well, I'm here to tell you that Bentley versus Udofia was an excellent fight. An excellent fight. Just like Tyson Fury versus Derek Chisora in 2012 when Channel 5 made their debut. That was for the British heavyweight title. It wasn't just me waxing about the future of Channel 5 after that fight, but it never materialized. We didn't get the follow-up fights. Mick Hennessy couldn't sustain it over the long haul. And that's not Mick's fault. The finances just didn't add up for Mick. But Wasserman, the Sowlands, they've got way more disposable income. Way more. But, you know, maybe kids don't play out on the street as much as they used to. But after we'd watch the FA Cup final or watching the big match on Sunday afternoon, you want to go out there and kick a ball around. Especially after you watch the FA Cup final. Well, it's no different with boxing for a lot of kids. They're going to see the Derek Chisoras, the Tyson Furies, the Denzels, the Udofias, and they're going to want to go out there and say, yo, I can be British champion too. But the championship has to maintain its status. It's like a lot of people were saying the FA Cup was dead for years. But when you watch the reaction of Merseyside winning that trophy, no, it's not the Champions League. No, it's not the Premier League. But yo, it meant something, bro. It meant something. And all that shit is changing. That shit is changing with a lot of sports. I've heard people in the press talking up the FA Cup again. Just like I saw members of the press saying, you know, actually, winning the European title in pro boxing is not to be sneezed at like some people are suggesting. It's a belt of high standing that can get you a world ranking and help you gate crash the scene. Look at the people who've held the belt. Ted Kid Lewis, one of the all-time greats. Ted Kid Lewis, former middleweight champion. Old Tommy Milligan. Len Harvey, who set the attendance record in a British ring against Jock McAvoy in 90,000 at the White City. Jock McAvoy, very popular fighter of his times. Massive KO percentage. Ernie Roderick, he won it. Yeah, Ernie jumped up and won it. He was outweighed by 11 pounds by Vince Hawkins. Great fighter was Ernie. This is what I was saying the other day about Sugar Ray Robinson when he challenged Joey Maxim. He was outweighed by 16 pounds. Outside of the heavyweight division, like obviously you saw Tony Yoka was outweighed by 30 odd pounds, but outside the heavyweight division today, in championship fights, you do not see fighters outweighed by 10 or 11 pounds when it was commonplace back in the 50s, 40s and 60s. Same day weigh-ins. Less weight classes. So when Ernie Roderick is challenging Vince Hawkins, there is no light middleweight division. This is the welterweight jumping up to middle. And he doesn't have a day before, like today's weigh-ins, to rehydrate. So these were real challenges jumping up weight classes. There's Dick Turpin, brother of Randy Turpin, the first official black boxer to win a British title. Andrew Jepter was the other, but that's a little more complicated to explain. Yeah, first man, 1948, first black man to win a British title. Shout out to the pioneers like Len Johnson, honourable mention, a Manchester fighter who, according to the historians, was a brilliant middleweight who was never allowed to challenge for the British title. He had a fight billed for the British title against Len Harvey, but the British Boxing Control, they vetoed. You know, very frustrating for him. You know, he won the Northern Area title, the Commonwealth title. He beat the likes of Ted Kid Lewis. Got names like that on his resume. That just shows you the ability he had. Scientific boxer, intelligent boxer by all accounts. So special mention to him. There's Randolph Turpin, Dick Turpin's younger brother. He won it a few years after. First black British man to win a world title. Sugar Ray Robinson had 129 wins, 1 loss, 2 draws when Randolph Turpin beat him in 1951 for the world title. That's the greatest win by any British fighter ever, period. It's not up for discussion or anything. There's Terry Downs, former world champion at 160, very popular fighter. He used to do films and TV. He beat an aging Sugar Ray Robinson over here. He won it. I'm not too familiar with Johnny Pritchett, but you know, he done his thing. Lonsdale belt winner, 4 wins on the bounce there against Wally Swift as well. He comes from a fighting family. His sons used to box. There's Mark Rowe, who won it and lost it to my good friend, R.I.P. Alex Sterling's dad, Bunny Sterling. Ah man, Bunny Sterling got a Lonsdale belt, 4 wins on the bounce. Wow. Well, he's got actually 5 of them. He's a Lonsdale belt holder. R.I.P. Mr. Sterling. First immigrant to win a British title from Jamaica, Bunny Sterling. There's Alan Minter, Lonsdale belt holder himself. R.I.P. Former world champion. There's Tony Simpson, ended Minter's career. And there's that fight with Frankie Lucas. Go look it up for the British title. Go look up that fight. Frankie Lucas was a crazy man. You know what I mean? Good fighter though. All the way up to Roy Gardens, who I didn't realise came from Tottenham. He lost the title to Mark Kaler. And Kaler had a very aggressive, let's just say, West Ham following. There's Tony Simpson again. So he must be a Lonsdale belt holder. I remember him taking that belt from Mark Kaler. There's Harold Graham, my man Harold. Definitely Lonsdale belt holder. He defended so many times. Great fighter. Great fighter. He was also British champion at light middle, European champion at light middle, and middleweight as well. Very underrated. Brian Anderson. I remember Tony Simpson, he made his comeback and he turned over Brian. But Brian was a decent fighter. Brian was pretty good. There's Frank Grant. Remember he done Errol Graham, man. Big upset that was. Big upset. Neville Brown. Wow, he made a few defenses, didn't he? Lonsdale belt holder. Nev. Glenn Catley. Can't forget Glenn from the West Country. He's at Bristol. He did win a super middleweight title, a world title. Howard Eastman, Lonsdale belt holder. There's 4 wins on the bounce there. He went on to challenge Bernard Hopkins and who's the other guy? William Joppy. He challenged both of them. He lost in world title challenges. There was Wayne Elcock. He was pretty good, man, and he got knocked out by Matthew Macklin. Serious knockout by Macklin, man. You know, and then we get to Darren Barker, Martin Murray. Barker went on to win a world title. Martin Murray, could say, was hard done by on a few scorecards in world title challenges. Billy Joe Saunders, Lonsdale belt holder, 4 fights on the bounce there. Nick Blackwell. There's Nick Blackwell again, when he had that fateful fight with Chris Eubank for the British title at Wembley Arena, ended his career. And recently we've had Liam Williams, Denzel Bentley, Felix Cash, who vacated his title after destroying Denzel Bentley, who came back to win it on Friday against Udelphia. So it has a rich history. This ain't just some tin pot belt that was made the other day. This belt has a lineage from the National Sporting Club to the British Boxing Board of Control. The Lonsdale belt. Wow, going through all that, I just realized that neither Michael Watson, Chris Eubank, or Nigel Benn, I mean, these three guys here, they revitalized British boxing big time in the late 80s with their trilogy thing they had going on. Not one of them fought for the British title or ever held the British title. Wow.